This is the sound of innovation.
100% pure orange juice. Quench your thirst with health.
Delicious!
Florida orange juice.
All you do is add 3 cans of water, stir, and a 6-ounce can makes a pint and a half of wonderful orange juice.
You'll learn why a government program invented it and how it helped end a Florida calamity. A historian told me.
It's like that line from The Graduate.
Plastics.
The future for these people was frozen concentrated orange juice.
Keep plenty on hand for baby and the whole family.
And I spoke to a senior vice president of futures exchanges about why frozen orange juice is traded as a commodity, and it has a ticker.
Are you tying it into trading places?
We will.
Okay.
The crop estimates for next year's orange crop are being delivered from Miami to the Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This isn't breakfast trivia. It is a story of technology, money, and a few stirs of genius.
Pure fresh frozen orange juice from sunny Florida.
So this is frozen concentrate orange juice. Now, some of you might not even know what that is, depending on your age. Basically, you take 1 can of this frozen orange juice, mix it with 3 cans of water, and you have a pretty good orange juice concoction.
Reach into your refrigerator for a refreshing taste of sunny Florida.
This became the breakfast drink of the 20th century. I mean, look at this kid. He would clearly kill for it. Before that, consumers had to juice their own oranges, which obviously took a while. I don't have time for this. I was gonna juice like 20 oranges for this video, but I don't have time for that, and I just have this hand juicer. And that's a metaphor for so many things in my life where, like, I'm doing the hand juicer version when I need a real juicer to get things done and get them done faster. That is kind of why I'm glad that NordVPN is the sponsor of this video. NordVPN, they're trying to make the internet safer from surveillance, from censorship, from all sorts of sketchy stuff out there. The reason that I use it is because it does let me go faster. I have to be able to access sensitive information, whether it's bank account or QuickBooks. I've got to be able to do that everywhere that I am, whether it's at a public library, a college library, a coffee shop. I can't be waiting to make sure that I have a secure connection. And thanks to NordVPN, I don't have to wait. You don't want to be thinking about online security all the time. That's the equivalent of this thing. You want the juicer. That's NordVPN. I'm going to show you how quick and seamless it is. I'm on Premiere right now. Boom, click over to NordVPN, click on Quick Connect, and I am connected. Right now, I'm on a VPN. It is done. Okay, so if you want to try it out, go to nordvpn.com/Phil Edwards to get a 2-year plan, plus an additional 4 months with a huge discount. It is risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can check it out, see what you think. And go ahead and use that link. I'll put it down in the description, or you can use the code Phil Edwards. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the video. That was it. I need a juicer. Okay, so before we get to why the government invented frozen concentrate orange juice, I want you to understand what it was really like to be an orange farmer in 1935. Frozen orange juice didn't exist yet, at least not in the same way. Your orange went fresh from the farm, straight to the consumer, and it did it in a pretty narrow band of time. For the Valencia orange, it mostly did it from January to June. So if you had a bunch of oranges, they would all kind of plop down at the same time, which means that the prices end up being lower. There were too many oranges and you had to sell them right away because they were gonna go bad. If you have bad oranges like this one, well, it's mostly wasted. There's science around making those into juice, but it boils off a lot of the taste. If you have a drought or a freeze, like this one in 1895, prices soar, but any individual farm might go broke. This was a volatile situation. In Florida, this mattered a lot. This 1962 chart gives a good perspective on oranges. California and Florida were neck and neck in 1935, and Florida wanted a path to grow the market, but orange growth was hard. So in the 1938-39 annual report, the Florida Citrus Exchange was just like, our lives are hard. This chart shows the big problem. See how they make less money the more oranges that they produce? Look how the line of profits and the bars of production are inversely correlated. The market, it ends up killing itself. Farmers were actually rooting for freezes, even though an individual farm could get crushed. Even worse, it would be useless for Florida growers to cut their orange shipments by 1/3 without a similar parallel action in California. Orange juice could help grow this lopsided market into a more sustainable one, but the juice, it just wasn't good enough. Even Donald Duck couldn't make it take off. Meanwhile, in Europe, during World War II, American scientists wanted to get vitamin C to soldiers. Groups like the Subsistence Research and Development Laboratory made tablets for vitamin C needing soldiers, but work was needed to increase the palatability of orange and lemon powders and tablets. Meanwhile, the Department of Agriculture had long been studying citrus production, diseases, and improvement. These efforts came together in Patent 2,453,109, the invention of workable frozen concentrate orange juice. Pilot programs to make it started right away, and it changed the taste of breakfast. Do you have any memories of this product as a kid yourself?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the rural Midwest, and the only way I was going to eat an orange was if it was frozen, concentrated, reconstituted, and, put in the plastic jug and swirled around with the wooden spoon. Yeah, I had a lot of frozen concentrated orange juice as a kid. I'm Shane Hamilton, and I'm a reader in Strategy Management Society at the University of York, and a historian of agribusiness.
I mean, seriously, frozen concentrate orange juice, it was the iPhone for oranges.
It seems insane that, sales of frozen concentrated orange juice would triple in 1 year, between 1947 and 48. But in the broader history, frozen concentrate was at the time a quite good solution.
Frozen concentrate orange juice solved a problem for consumers, but it really solved a problem for orange producers. The time in the market grew because you could save and sell this stuff all year long. You could have more oranges, and you can use the hot oranges and Mr. Wastage. Frozen orange juice saves oranges. This report shows the tremendous rise in output has helped to reduce further the cost per unit of processing. Each orange gets cheaper for the farmer. Frozen orange juice didn't solve everything. Hamilton's paper covers how prices still went up during big freezes. This chart shows that well into the frozen orange juice era, value here went up when boxes shipped here went down. But they had turned orange juice into a bigger industry that was much more consistent and preservable. And that enabled an even weirder new market.
Randolph, we're about to make millions of dollars in frozen orange juice, and you're talking to me about human nature.
Frozen orange juice futures are a major part of the 1983 movie Trading Places. And even if you haven't seen this movie, I think this will help you understand the weirdness of FCOJ in the futures market. Planet Money did an episode all about this in 2013, but it focuses on the stocks and futures elements, and I think you can learn a lot by understanding the orange juiciness of it all.
When they did Trading Places, they didn't initially pick frozen concentrated orange juice. It's a great product for the movie. There were grains at CME or the Chicago Board of Trade because they knew that. They were looking for an exchange, and they went to the New York Board of Trade, and the New York Board of Trade said, you should do it in the frozen concentrated orange juice pit. I'm Tribute Bland. I'm Senior Vice President of Futures Markets at ICE, Intercontinental Exchange.
And this is the ticker where you can trade frozen concentrate orange juice on the futures contract. Let's break down how this happened and why it matters. Trading Places is about how the Duke brothers, these jerky guys, did a social experiment on Dan Aykroyd, a rich broker guy, and Eddie Murphy, a kind of scammer, to trade places. Cue Trading Places.
We are commodities brokers, William, like coffee that you had for breakfast. And then there are other commodities like frozen orange juice.
Okay, so let's freeze on that. Commodities like frozen orange juice. It is phenomenal that that sentence is true. Waste oranges are too unpredictable to be traded, but frozen concentrate orange juice, FCOJ, can be preserved, it can be consistent, it can be measured. Duke says this line, but it's probably the one miss in the movie.
Though, of course, gold doesn't grow on trees like oranges.
That's the thing. FCOJ made oranges kind of like gold. It is refined, it is consistent, and it is highly tradable. They start selling it on an exchange in 1966. They even set a Brix value for FCOJ of 62.5 degrees. It's basically a measurement to make sure that it isn't too watered down. And with this, FCOJ becomes a consistent, stable thing that you can make bets on the future price of. It becomes sellable on a futures market.
Why would people want to have FCOJ? Why would they want to hold this as a future?
Sure. I mean, there's a couple reasons why. If I split the industry into two, there are people that need to hedge. So let's just say a citrus farmer, a citrus producer, Minute Maid, they need to hedge.
For example, if there's a good harvest, prices are going to be at $1. Whereas if there's a bad harvest, not a lot of oranges, they're going to shoot up to $5. So if you're a juice processor, for example, and you want to protect yourself against that $5, you might buy at $3.
The other people that would be in the market, and I'm being very simplistic here, would be speculators.
There are physical warehouses around the country that store FCOJ to secure these contracts. And at least in theory, this helps smooth out some of the price volatility. Not only is this useful for FCOJ, but also to price other citrus.
Frozen concentrated orange juice doesn't just price frozen concentrated orange juice, which very few people use nowadays, unless you're mixing a drink. They use it as a proxy for all citrus. So that, all citrus being produced will be at some relationship to the price of FCOJ.
99% of the time, weather is driving these dynamics.
2023, there was like a big freeze or something. Does that sound right?
We had a weather event there. So the fun one was COVID, because everyone started drinking orange juice again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so the price of orange juice went up 15%. It caught us completely off guard.
COVID aside, you have this frozen invention that has become a way to hedge against the weather. And now, maybe, hopefully, the end of trading places makes sense. Let's see. So let's do this from the top. Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. They've got a copy of the crop report. They see it. They know that oranges are going to be normal for the year. A big freeze won't have impacted the harvest, but they get the evil Duke brothers to take a look at a fake report that says that there is going to be a big freeze, but that means there's going to be like just one sad orange up here. So prices are going to be really high. So the Duke brothers buy a lot and they drive up the rest of the market.
Hey, the Dukes are trying to corner the market.
They know something.
Eddie and Dan say that they are willing to sell oranges in April for $1.42.
Sell down in April at $1.42!
Now everyone else is like, dude, oranges are going to be way more than that.
Selling, Mortimer.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Duke brothers think that they've seen this crop report that says it, and then everyone else says, oh, the Duke brothers are so smart, I'm going to do what they say. Then the fake crop report, it goes away because a guy goes on TV and he reveals the real crop report, which says that, yeah, there's going to be plenty of oranges in April. We're going to be fine.
The cold winter has apparently not affected the orange harvest.
Everyone starts panicking because they own these orange futures that are too expensive. Finally, Eddie and Dan say that they are willing to buy down at 29 cents. Now they have already sold at $1.42. So the difference there is huge, and it means they make a ton of money. And the Dukes, who are stuck with this high price, lose a ton of money. And all of this is because of frozen orange juice, the invention that liberated the orange from the tyranny of being just a fruit. Okay, so we can't finish the story of FCOJ without talking about the downfall of the actual drink.
Fresh frozen orange juice from Florida.
This bizarre commodity created to save Florida. Well, orange sellers and processors started to use Brazil as an alternative source as Florida got built up with just like houses and had more freezes. processors started hedging against Florida farmers. Today, FCOJ isn't just a mix of Mr. Wastage and hot oranges. It's a mix of oranges from all over the world. The FCOJ I have is from the USA, Brazil, and Mexico. Even the decline of FCOJ for consumers is surprisingly recent. It gets supplanted largely by not from concentrate juices, like this, and reconstituted from concentrate juices, like this. Neither of these are fresh squeezed orange juices. On the label of this Tropicana one, it says 100% orange juice, fresh squeezed taste. But it's not fresh squeezed, it's pasteurized orange juice. That's the reason that it can last so long. So why make a video about this oddity?
So always keep plenty on hand.
I do think it is a genuinely convoluted and fascinating way to tackle the problem of fruit being fruit. But it is also a story about how the sense memories of childhood, whether you had FCOJ or one of these juices, can be shaped by technology and economics. And for that reason, these big ideas are worth listening to. All right, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you to everyone who talked to me for it. If you don't know, I have a newsletter that I publish with each video, and it's got an article that gets into something that I couldn't get into in the video proper. Go ahead and look down in the description. I've got a link to it. It's completely free to read, free to join, and you also get a notification when a new video of mine publishes. That is it for this one. I'd love to know what you think about FCOJ and the FCOJ story. Are you on an FCOJ basis with fruit concentrate orange juice? Because I totally am. I'm going to call it FCOJ for the rest of my life now. And yeah, let me know what you think about this. Also, let me know if there's other stuff that you think is actually super weird. I did a video about a boring gray boat that was actually super weird. I'm doing this one now about FCOJ. Any other ideas? Let me know. All right. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.